Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install a double DIN head unit in your 1998 through 2001 Lincoln Town Car. I'm not going to be going through the basics of how to install a radio. I'm kind of assuming that you already know how to do that. There is something specific about double DIN radios and these 1998 through 2001 Town Cars that becomes tricky per se. You see, the problem becomes evident as soon as you go to remove the radio from your town car. Pull the radio out and you notice that even though the faceplate is double DIN, which, like many people, led me to believe that the unit itself was also double DIN, the back is single DIN. This is sort of a 1.5 DIN. The back of it is extremely narrow, and at first when I opened this up I didn't really think much of it, but as we can see, when going to install a full double DIN radio, this actually becomes a huge problem. The issue here is that Lincoln, or shall I say Ford, has decided that the AC duct for the two vents here and here, rather than route it literally anywhere else, and maybe they had their reasoning, but I don't know, they've decided to run it directly over your stereo. So rather than having a cavity into which you can fully put in a double DIN radio, there's this plastic piece, sort of a mounting bracket, that comes down and into the cavity, and I'm not really sure that it does anything, maybe just providing support. And then back behind there, I don't think you can really see it yet, is the vent itself. Now, for most people, this is not something that you would really ever have to deal with. You could buy a mechless head unit, which is just very short. It doesn't really go in far. You could buy a single DIN head unit, but I've already spent my money. I'm going to get this head unit in this car if it kills me, and I'm going to be showing you how I do that. So before we do this, there are two important things to consider. As you've seen, a very important piece of plastic, piece of ductwork in fact, is blocking where the radio has to go. So what are we going to do here? We are going to take a Dremel tool and cut through the AC duct, making sure that it fits the dimensions of our radio, and then using the all-powerful T-Rex tape, we're going to reform the AC duct and seal it up to fit the shape. This is very important because this is a big car. You need some good airflow in there. Honestly, you should probably just get a single DIN radio or a mechless unit. If you've decided that you do want to do this, please test your head unit, because if you put it in and find that it doesn't work, you are going to have a hell of a lot more trouble. So the first thing I did after removing the old head unit, which you can probably see down there, is that I'm going to take this dash off just to make things easier. Now, I might run into some issues because of this aftermarket CD changer thing, but removing this itself is pretty easy. There are 4 screws. There's 2 here, right on top. There's 2 here in the gauge cluster. They're 9 by 32 inch, or 9/32, whatever. You can just remove them with a socket. It's pretty easy. And then you can grab in here, pull, grab here, pull, and the whole thing comes loose relatively easily. But it does take a little bit of prying. It's not bad. Keep in mind that there are actually 2 connections here that you have to pull. I take that back, there are 4. Now you can see this is wide open. So see the duct right here, which runs behind. First of all, we're going to take a Dremel tool and simply cut this section away. The reason for that is that, well, we need to remove it to get to the duct. So before I start cutting, you can see I've done a couple things. all of these wires for the radio I've pinned down with a bit of masking tape. Obviously these are very important and I don't want them to be casualties of my Dremel tool. And then I've taken a Sharpie and just marked some of the places where I plan to cut. Basically, we still want this support, we still want these rails, but this top piece needs to come out. I do recommend having a small vacuum with you because this plastic stuff just gets everywhere, and I'm wearing a mask, you probably should too, you really don't want to be breathing this in. This is the bit I'm using. I don't know that this is necessarily the best one, but it works alright. What else? Earlier I did say that these plastic things were rails for the radio. I'm pretty sure that is not actually true. However, still keep them. I don't think that cutting them out is the smart choice here. Alright, so now that plastic piece is out, you can see it's, it's a bit of a hack job, but it's out and it works. So now we're going to start cutting the now exposed AC duct. I think I'm going to do about 1.5 inches or 1 inch upward and about 3 inches back. I'm going to go a little further than I think I need to, just to make sure, because I can always seal that back up. But it's always good to test fit your radio, or at least see when you put it in roughly where you think it'll end up, just to make sure you're getting the right amount and don't have to do extra cutting later. Now keep in mind, on the Ford radio, this is sort of a support, so you should expect that this is like the maximum. It will not be farther than this. My radio is shorter by a little bit than the Ford, so I'm expecting it to come to like here. Now by sheer will, I have removed the piece of the AC duct. Again, a bit of a hack job, but the reason it looks like this is that I found the most efficient way to cut this was to drill many tiny holes and then go between the gaps. You're going to find that your bits clog up with plastic, probably. The AC duct is a little harder to cut through than this stuff was, but it does work. You just have to be patient, be careful, and like I said, that sort of dotting method seemed to work very well. Now we're going to test fit the radio and see if it goes all the way in. Thankfully, it seems to. Obviously, it's kind of hard to judge without the rest of the dash in, but it appears that it goes far enough back based on what I can see. So now I'm going to try sealing the AC duct back up. Okay, so I've sealed up the AC duct. Shine a light on it here. It's not a great amount of space, so you need to be careful to get like the top sealed up, the bottom. I used a flathead to just get the tape in between the two panels. Same thing on the sides. The biggest thing here is you can't just seal this up haphazardly. Make sure to maintain the shape of the cavity that the radio actually has to go into. So now we're going to start testing things. I need to make sure that air comes out of the vents. I need to start making sure that the radio will in fact work. And we're kind of getting ready to seal this all back up. So now I've got the car started. Unfortunately, I had to jump it, but there is airflow out of these vents. There is heat coming out, so I feel like that's a good sign. I'm not going to claim that the airflow is as good as it was before, because it probably isn't, but it works, so that's something. If you thought you were done cutting, well, you might want to sit down for this because you're not. Another problem with double DIN radios because of this 1.5 DIN situation is it won't actually go through this hole. At least the back won't. So this upper lip and then this lower lip will have to be carefully removed with the Dremel tool. And this one you really want to be careful because obviously this is your plastic wood grain trim. You don't want to screw that up, I think. Alright, so now we've got this piece done. I'm not going to say it's the most beautiful thing ever, but it does work, and now this space is open so the radio can go through it. Alright, so now we're getting to the point of putting things back together. I've got the dash ready, I've got it test fitted. Obviously I can't actually snap it in place, but now I'm gonna try getting the dash back in place as it was. Then we're gonna test the radio wiring one last time, make sure everything's set, and then we're gonna click it in place, and there's no going back from there. Now, important here, you can see I've reinstalled the dash for the same reason that we cut off the plastic on this wood trim. You cannot reinstall the 2 screws that go here because they're gonna block the radio, so keep that in mind. I don't think I'm gonna be able to save the CD changer. I had to cut the wire to get the dash off, and honestly, this, like I said, this has a CD player anyway, so it's probably fine. I don't really care. It would have just been for aesthetics, but I mean, you can still see it. It's just gonna be permanently off. Alright, so now we're doing the test run of the radio. Got it wired up. Got some BB King in. So you can see it's working good, it sounds good. And let me show you the wiring. But you can see I've got everything hooked up like it's supposed to be. Crimp connectors are good. Double checked everything. I ran the aux cord through the dash, so now it comes out down here. And yeah, it seems like it's working well. I think it's time to install it. Okay, so we actually managed to get it in. A couple of notes. It's easier to click it in place. Well, we had to pull the dash out again to click it in place. You shouldn't have to do that, but once it snaps in, it's in. Once my car's battery is charged, I'll show this bad boy running, but it is in fact installed, which is fantastic. Something to think about, even though the radio had enough space, one of the cables was preventing us from putting the radio all the way in, which was a problem for a while, but we ended up just cutting the cable because it wasn't one that I was using for anything, and now it fits. And there we have it.
Why is this so long?
The radio is installed. Working just as it's supposed to.
There we go.
Beautiful job. Done. That's how you do it.